In today's video I have this Jands 4-pack Mark II 4-channel dimmer / controller for lighting. After looking at that Musicolour kit, I remembered I had this under the bench, so I thought I might as well dig it out and see if it actually works. I think it's meant to. So that control's a bit bent, though that may have happened here. Ooh, that didn't feel too good. Probably shouldn't push on that too hard. So let's switch it on, see if it does anything. Oh, it's buzzing. That light globe's slightly lit. Oh, these are bypass switch or something. Okay, master. Well, we've only got 2 channels at the moment, but look at it. So those triacs can buzz a bit, especially if they've got a inductor to reduce RF radiation stuff. So they do buzz a little bit. Oh, that one's sort of working. We've got a bad pot. Lights coming on and off. So it's possible if these pots have been damaged, maybe they're not. I don't think that channel works. We've got chaser. That doesn't really do anything. Or do we have to dim something down? Ah, that's weird. If you turn the channels down, I guess that override. Oh, maybe that's to override it, I guess. Well, we've got a 3-lamp chaser. Speed adjustable. I found my green light bulb. So at least I've got 3 colours. Don't think I've got a blue one anywhere. I've got audio, so is that... Did something just change it? That might be my imagination. Is there a microphone in this thing? Because I didn't see any audio connectors on it. I'll just put it in the slowest. Oh god, how slow is the slow mode? Oh, there you go. Don't know whether the music will affect it. I've got the CD player there. Let's. So it's not very good. It just sort of speeds up with more volume by the look of it. Oh, that must be, so it thinks that channel's there, obviously. So the sequence is working through all 4 channels, just very slowly. Oop. So I guess this should, yeah, 1, 2, 3, that one, 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 that one. Yes, so that's working as intended, but for some reason our channel doesn't want to do anything. So we turn chaser off. The master doesn't do anything there. So master, I guess, does all 3 together. And I think, are they an override to just turn them on? I guess you can just turn them on for as long as you want. That's kind of a good feature. You can just press it to do it as long as you want. You can dim it. So that's not very bright, that green one, is it? Oh, it's because the master's down, I guess. So you have to have the master at maximum to do each individual channel. And of course, there's no point. If we turn them down, that overrides the master. And what I'm going to do, turn that down, or turn those down and leave the master up. Interestingly, if I have that one down, and it does still chase, but you can leave one light on. I guess you don't see the chaser if they're all on. That makes sense. So that's the yellow just over the top. So you can have a different kind of chaser, I guess, with some staying on all the time. And of course, you don't see the chaser when they're all at maximum. So in theory, if it's turning something off, it could turn them off, but I guess it's more a case of it turns stuff on and this overrides whatever turns it on in that mode. Bit of dust on this thing, which I better get off. But I guess we'll have a look and see why one channel's dead. It's quite a solid unit, this thing. Looks like they've superseded these now, but that feels like it's almost 10 kilos or something. I don't know if it's that heavy, but it's some solid aluminium and metal there. The newer ones have got a display on them, and looks like the new ones do a lot more chase sequences and stuff. Certainly got more features, but they're about $570 or something, I think, when I looked online. And surprisingly, there weren't any of these old ones for sale at all in Australia, I don't think. And there is just a Mark 1 version of these. And looks like they also made some large sort of kilowatt type lighting controllers that control really large lamps or large numbers of lamps. But I haven't really heard of this brand before. It looks like it was sold by PMLS. Almost sounds like PM myself laughing, but not quite the right way around. Peeing my laughing self, I guess. And I found out who our PMLS people are, Professional Music and Lighting Systems, Tasmania. It's like they're out the Moona area somewhere. Last tested in, well, test date in 2019, good until 2020. Not sure if I'm undoing this the right way, but I assume the top comes off once we undo all these dozens of screws. A bit rusty, so it's probably been in storage somewhere in like a garage for a long time. Okay, there's only about 20 screws in the thing. Solidly built though, obviously made for like road use and stuff, I guess, so that it doesn't get broken. Oh, I've got more screws here. This will do, I think, up to 2400 watts or thereabouts, 10 amp 3AG fuse, so yeah, that'll do around 2400 watts of lamps, which is basically what the mains cord and the outlet on the power point is rated at. And each one of these sockets, for that matter, finally get this lid off. I've got an earth wire and we've got some control wires, not surprisingly. Well, it's certainly well built. Yeah, there's your buzzing sound, probably these massive toroidals. Usually I've got a few of these caps and toroidals to basically to stop RF interference. The power sockets are fairly rusted. Looks like there's at least 3 types here, I think, so someone's been changing power sockets over time. 2 older ones, well, that's just a black version of something similar, but the screws are in different spots, and this one's a completely different. I didn't even notice that, but yeah, it's a larger diameter. Yeah, so someone must have given this a fair bit of use if they were actually replacing sockets because they were worn or broken. But given there's a bit of rust on these, maybe they replaced them because they're getting old and rusty. It's got very large triacs in it. BTA 44-600. 600 is just the voltage. So they're certainly larger than the usual triacs. And there's our optocouplers to feed them. Obviously, yeah, someone's written primary and secondary on the transformer. So I guess the first thing would be to check that your optocoupler is getting a signal. But we don't even get a light up on this thing, so that's... Maybe we'll take... Does that unplug that earth? It goes all the way to the other end, of course. Nope. Let's unplug that. Take that earth wire off. I might just check the potentiometer and stuff's intact, because that other one was flicking just due to a dirty pot, I think. and I've got to look at a couple of them a bit bent anyway. Four-pack control card. So where's our pots? Must be these. 1, 2. Is that another connection to the pot? Oh yeah, there's the two. At least 2 end connections, I think, or one connected, one maybe not. How much hassle? It's not much hassle to take the board out. Let's remove these things. Good to see nice solid shafts on the pots. No, those little twin finger sort of things that bend easily. These will probably still bend easy enough. But I've got to say, this is very nicely engineered for roadie sort of use. It's a very solid unit. Probably a bit of overkill if you just wanted it for use in a theatre or something where it's just going to stay there and never get moved around the place. Yeah, she's a bit rusty in here as well. Now there's our microphone, so that's just behind the front panel. They put some black stuff on here to stop the dust getting in and just, I guess, generally make them look nicer than looking down inside the inside of a slider pot kind of thing. But yeah, it is good for that one's mostly gone. Good for stopping dust ingress to a degree. Top set. Some sort of trim pot. Not sure what it sets the top of. We've got like liquid nails used as a glue in this thing. That's an interesting one. Don't think I've ever seen that in basically construction adhesive used in electronic equipment before, but why not? At least it's pretty solid stuff, though. It does tend to go a little bit brittle with time. Or can I do that without wrecking the thing? It didn't like me bending it, I don't think. Pot feels a little loose, probably with me bending it and stuff. It's starting to, yeah, these shafts are so solid you're going to break the pot trying to bend them, I think. So I'm going to have to hold it there. Certainly got good solid steel shafts on them, I've got to give them that, but that can be a bad thing because it means you break something else instead of the pot shaft. I think we've loosened that off a bit, or someone has. How it actually is the clipped over bits. Probably really need to unsolder it to get it right, but see if we can bend a couple of these bits back tighter. Just where they've wrapped a bit of metal around the plastic bit. The inside's basically, that's a bit tighter than it was. So I was just going to check, are these pots we've got, so it's really those two connections. There's a couple of pins which are more to hold it in place, I think. Has this one come loose? I think it's still solid. Looks like a nice bit of soldering in the thing. Let's do a bit of a resistance check. 1200 ohms, 1200 ohms, 0 ohms, so those bits are probably joined together. And then I think there's two 1.5k, nothing to that bit. $1600 ohms, 1500 ohms are at one end. Where are we, that one? Now we're at much lower, and this end's probably higher across here, is it? Yep. So I guess one end's the wiper, or one of these is probably the wiper up this end. There should be a fixed resistance somewhere. That's down low. Let's move it up the other way. That's low now. That's high now. So I think that's the fixed resistance element there. That's the wiper. 32 ohms to that end. 14k, 1400 ohms to that end, then it should go the opposite way. It should be 0 to this end or thereabouts. Yeah, that's got it. So that's wiper, and it should be at one end or the other. $3K. That's a bit weird. We're certainly at 3K on that channel, but that's not the faulty channel. 1700 low, even lower. Low that end now, as it should be at 1400 ohms. So why on earth are we getting 3K here? I know, now we've got 1400. I've got 3K there though. $1,500, that should be 0 this end. Maybe it's just a bad connection or something. Oh, that was that dirty pot, I think. That pot definitely needs a clean. Well, I guess we should give them all a clean while we're in here. Is that a big one that was flickering, I'm guessing? But it's not a faulty pot. I thought just because they stick out the top, but this thing looks like it's had a bit of a beating. I might as well start by checking that first. And this thing needs a service anyway, so we might as well just go over all of that. Now, what have we got in the way of chips and stuff in this thing? It must be, it's all surface mount. And yep, we have a 4017 IC right there. So that's our chaser chip with probably a 555 timer running it. Can I read that chip? It's probably that simple. That just says 358. That could be like an op amp or something. That's the 358. That's the 358. Can't really read the other. That's the 358. Yeah, so all these other chips are 358s, I think. That's the 4017. So we know that's our chaser. Unlikely to be faulty there, but that should come out to some of these lines. I don't see any. That's ground. We've got 2 lines, 2 more lines. Well, let's think, because the 4017 probably feeds directly into whatever controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those chips. Maybe there's a chip for each pot. Bunch of capacitors, that's just our power regulator, I guess. So it could be any of these lines. That goes to R4. Oh, well, you can start seeing. So it's probably R38, 39, 40, 41. They look like your circuits. I'm guessing that'll be our output. So we've got the first or second line here, third line here through 40. So it's the lines either side of that earth track by looking, and that's 38. Yeah, so one's just ground. The other one, well, that will be our power line, I guess. Goes to a diode, so maybe. Oh yeah, it goes into these filter caps and regulator. So we've got voltage, one end. Bit hard to see which wires they are. But anyway, that's it. So voltage, ground, and some switching lines. Well, do we hook this up naked? Might be the way to do it. Before we put it back together and find out the board's faulty, I guess. So we should be able to measure those lines. Let's put them all to max. Now, it's got a transformer, so it should be safe to touch everything in here. Are we on? Got power. That switch doesn't click either on that one. Oh, I've turned all the bots to minimum too. Of course I did. Oh, okay, so those LEDs dim up and down on these switches. So wait, when we first turn it on, let's just turn that off again. Let's put that at max. Yeah, the channels come on besides that one, and that doesn't click. Could it be as simple as a dodgy switch? I don't think it's that easy, but it shows something in that area is not the best. Which one is it? That one. I don't know which way it switches, but let's press on it. Just because it doesn't click doesn't mean much, doesn't mean it's not working. No, it works fine. Oh, it's starting to click now. Yeah, little. Oh, so there. Is that right? Are they normally closed? They're normally open. They're normally closed. Oh, they're quite good little switches then. They can be used in any situation. Now the line to that LED does not look the cleanest. But let's see, what's it go to this end pin of this chip maybe? So do we have an issue? Wait, what is this LED? That goes to that resist. Oh, what? So each negative lead of the LEDs goes to that resistor that then goes to the other board. So what are we doing? Are we going via the LED or something? Yeah, I wouldn't know what they've done. We should measure something across the LED like that. Forward voltage drop. You can't tell me a faulty LED would cause this issue. Other LEDs all measure, that one doesn't. Well, that's outright weird. Problem is it's built into the switch. Now, power's off. So I don't know if you can change the LEDs in these things, but I guess we're about to find out. I haven't seen one of these switches in quite a while. I think these were more 80s kind of switch. I think we just removed the track from one of those. Very fine tracks in this thing. And very tight fitting. It's coming. Those ones are all loose. The LED isn't it, I don't think. Assuming that's what's there. LED's definitely holding it. Oh, there we go. It's got some sort of muck all over this. And the fact it wasn't clicking, oh, you can unclick that bit maybe. Well, I guess I could have soldered an LED across. So I'll check it out of circuit, see if there's anything obvious. It's not corroded. That LED, I'm pretty sure, is dead. So the question is, can we unclip this switch? Like, it's not obviously corroded or anything. I guess we're about to find out whether these switches can be repaired or not. Don't know that you can get them easily these days. I would doubt they're available as a part anymore. But I think even like Elector magazine and stuff used to use these in their projects. I used to have some, I think. I'm pretty sure I salvaged some of these out something way back because I thought they'd be cool for a little project that I might build, and long since chucked them out, I think. But the main hassle with these is being able to make a nice hole for them. Uh-oh, did I break something getting that off? I don't know how that it was even held on. Oh, there's metal pins there, I think, poking into it. I hope I didn't damage it, but definitely rust on that. So this, yeah, some sort of metal pin that actually slides back and forth, I think, that goes through I swear the spring down in there is moving when I do it too. These aren't even a 3mm LED, I don't think. They seem super small. Wow, I don't know that you can get it out of there. I don't want to disassemble the contacts and stuff. Obviously a bit more this thing can click off. Surely that will come loose. It's wobbling a bit, but it's slowly rising, I think. Or am I just wrecking it? I reckon rust has got up into the LED body and killed it. It's coming. Now, which way? Cathode, is that labelled? There is something like I swear that, what does it say? Shadow. Shadow as in SCHADOW. There's a little marker there which might mean negative. Oh, it came out now, so it must have just corroded. Badly corroded by something. The old spill the beer on the DJ's equipment thing, I think. Seems to be a popular thing to do at parties. Get drunk and go and ask for the DJ to play something and then spill your drink all over his stuff as a thank you. So hopefully I didn't damage whatever those pins. I can't really see where they fitted in. I don't know if I broke something off, or is there a little hole there? I think I might have broken something. Maybe it just clips in, I think. It's just a little piece for it to fit into. Is that what it is? God. Anyway, let's see what a 3mm LED looks like compared to that. Oh, back in my early electronics days, I used to salvage a few 3mm LEDs, and geez, that one's almost identical. And there's some new ones in here as well. I'm probably going to need a new one to get long enough leads. What's that one? That looks a bit large. I think this one's just missing the base bit, is it? Don't know that it matters, it just doesn't have much of a piece around the base of it. Some of them have this larger little skirt thing. Let's try that. It's got to be easier than that other bendy thing. And cathode is that side. Something's got to fit. Oh, it goes in nicely. Can I get this bit back on without... Hopefully I haven't wrecked it. Oh yeah, I see it sort of pushes down in between the metal spring and the plastic there, so it should just lock in, I think. Just goes click and... I couldn't even see it before, it was so much rubbish in there. Yeah, that's clicking. It's got an LED, I think we're in business. It's going to be one of the weirdest faults, if that's the case, that a faulty LED in a switch caused a channel not to work in this thing. Bit dirty under there too. Actually, the problem with that is it sticks out quite a bit too much. Oh, I can push it down. It must have just pushed back up. I was going to say, is it shouldn't be longer. It just pushed in as I put it through the circuit board, I think. Well, at least I noticed before I soldered it. It still sticks out a little bit more, but only a little bit. That one's lost its solder pad, but it's not connected to anything, so it really doesn't matter other than to hold it mechanically. I think the rest of them will do. That LED better go in the bin. Okay, let's see if we've got another LED operational now. Oh yeah, we've got all four of them. That one's slightly different looking. Of course it is. And then we should, when we press the buttons, LED, 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 LED. Better get that out from under there. Yeah, doesn't match perfectly. If I wanted to spend a lot of time, I guess I could find a better one. Well, let's see Does that now make that first channel operate? It does. I'll be... So they must feed that LED light. I guess I know what they're doing. Makes perfect sense. Is you have an LED resistor for the current limiting, and then you feed it through the LED and the optocoupler to ground or whatever. So that's whichever way that voltage is going, to ground or to positive. That makes perfect sense, because you just got the two LEDs and they both dim together, they both go on together. Very simple circuit design really. So you just feed them in series and adjust your dropping resistor to suit. Because it's basically the simplest way to do it. You can get a custom user LED and a output to control your triac out of the one thing. Yeah, it's seen better days a bit. It's a little on the corroded side here and there. But of all things, it was an LED that failed, so that would have been the last thing I would have thought would fail at it until you start looking at the circuitry a bit. And yeah, when you think about it, it makes perfect sense to have those in series. One visual LED for user feedback. They really made that a bit tight to get in there. And one LED to actually control things connected in series with it. So it makes a lot of sense in hindsight. Okay, final test time. Slow it down. Yeah, everything seems to work. Let's just check each one is... turn the chaser off, audio off. Smooth. Slow mode is very slow. Not sure if that's what that trim pod adjusted in there. Does it even move? Eventually. Wow, that's slow. It's getting there. Globes actually make a bit of a clicking noise as they go, which is interesting. Oh well, that all seems to be in working order. So you can dim the chaser by the look of it. But all seems to be working, so thanks for watching.